How to create inner safety when the world feels unstable. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. The new moon in Taurus on 16th of May 2026 is not just another new moon. This one feels different because this new moon is asking you something very simple but very deep. Can you feel safe inside yourself even when life around you is changing? Can you stay grounded when the world feels loud? Can you trust your body when your soul wants to panic? Can you choose peace when everything outside you feels uncertain? Because Taurus is the sign of the body, nature, money, value, food, stability, comfort, and inner security. But this new moon is about during a very electric time. Uranus has just entered Gemini. Pluto has just turned retrograde in Aquarius. Mercury is moving close to Uranus. Mars will soon enter Taurus and then square Pluto. So we have this very interesting contrast. Taurus says, come back to your body. Come back to the earth. Slow down. But Uranus, Gemini, and Pluto are saying everything is changing. The future is arriving quickly. Old systems are being disrupted. So, this new moon is not asking you to control the world. It is asking you to create inner safety. Not a fake kind of a safety. Not safety that depends on everything going perfectly. Not the kind of safety that's come from your own system, but the kind of safety that comes from your own system, from your own values, from your own truth, and your own connection with life. This is very powerful new moon for planting seeds around self-worth, money, security, your body, your peace, your home, your nervous system, your relationship with nature, your ability to trust life. And I want you to listen to this forecast, not just with your mind, but with your body. Because Taurus is not only about thinking, it's about feeling. So, before we get into the signs and the forecast in general, just take a slow breath, like relax your shoulders, feel your feet on the ground, and ask yourself, where in my life I'm still living in survival mode? Because this new moon wants to help you come out of that. The new moon in Taurus happened at the end of Taurus, close to Uranus in early Gemini. Even though Gemini has already moved, even though Uranus already has moved into Gemini, the energy is still very close to this new moon. So there is a stronger feeling of sudden change, awakening, truth, and breakthroughs. This is not a sleepy Taurus moon. This is a Taurus with electricity running through it. You may feel tired and wired at the same time. You may feel that your body wants rest, but your mind is racing. You may feel that you need stability, but something in your life is asking for a change. And this is the main message here. You are not meant to stay stuck just because something feels familiar. Taurus can sometimes hold on. It holds onto people, comfort, habits, money, money fears, old routines, old values, and old versions of safety. But Uranus brings the question, is this reality safe or is just familiarity? Is this really safe or we are just familiar with it? Because sometimes the things can we call safety is actually the cage. Sometimes we stay in the same pattern because we know it, not because it supports us. So this new moon may bring sudden clarity. You may suddenly realize, I don't want this anymore. I don't want value. I don't value this anymore. This is not aligned with who I am. And I have plans to become something else. And my current situation doesn't align with who I want to become. I need more space. I need peace. I need a different rhythm. And because Pluto is now retrograde in Aquarius, there is also a deeper collective theme around power, control, technology, truth, secrets, and freedom. Pluto retrograde asks us to look inside and ask the important question, where have I given my power away? Where have I been controlled by fear? Where have I been reacting instead of choosing? Where do I need to reclaim my sovereignty? Collectively, this can be a period where hidden things continues to come to the surface. Secrets may be revealed, power struggles may be questioned, technology, AI, digital systems, banking, communication, and information may be under the spotlight. And with Uranus in Gemini, we may see sudden news, sudden change in communication, transport, media, internet, digital platforms, and even the way people think and speak. This do not mean we need to panic. Actually, Taurus teaches the opposite. Taurus says, do not panic. Prepare. Ground yourself. Simplify things. Come back to what is real. So, one very practical message of this new moon is have simple support system in place. Keep your life grounded. Keep your body regulated. Spend time in nature. Take breaks from your phone. Monitor your social media time. Do not overload yourself with information. Check in your body before reacting. Keep some practical things organized at home. Eat nurturing food. And sleep. Take as long sleep you need. Take a breath. Slow down. This is a beautiful new moon for working with the nervous system. Because so many people are mentally and emotionally overloaded now. We're consuming too much information, too much noise, too many options, too many updates, too many predictions, even if you wish. And Taurus reminds us your body is not designed to live in a constant alert mode. So this new moon asking, what would life look like if safety becomes your foundation? Without pressure, without proving, without overthinking what this foundation will look like, without controlling, without pleasing everyone, without running away, but feel safe. and the body stay calm with steady heart. A simple life with clear value system. How this foundation would look like with our deeper trust in ourselves, with the deeper trust in yourself. Around this new moon, you may also notice strong themes around food, land, nature, farming, finances, currency, possessions, and values. But the deeper spiritual question is not only what do I own? It is what do I value now? Because your values may be changing. Maybe the things you used to chase no longer feel meaningful. Maybe peace matters more than status. Maybe time matters more than money. Maybe health matters more than achievements. Maybe simplicity feels more attractive than constant ambition. This is the Taurus wisdom. With Mars entering Taurus on 19th of May, this energy becomes even more practical. You may feel ready to take slow, steady actions, not rushed actions, not impulsive actions, but grounded actions. Then around 25 and 26th of May, Mars square Pluto, and this can bring intensity, power struggles, pressure, or strong emotional reactions. So be aware of that. Do not enter every battle. Do not let people, someone else, pull you out of your center. Do not let your center goes out of balance. If something triggers you, first pause, because this whole second of May is teaching us the difference between reaction and power. Reaction is fast, power is centered. Reaction is survival, power is a choice. Reaction says, I need to control this. Power says, I know who I am. And then we close the month with the full moon in Sagittarius in 31st of May, which may bring true wisdom, belief system, travel, teaching, and heart knowledge into focus. So this new moon in Taurus is planting the seeds. The Sagittarius full moon will reveal what true wants to emerge. What practical tips we have for the new moon? For this new moon, do not overcomplicate your ritual if you are into new moon rituals. Taurus like simple things. Just light a candle, sit somewhere quiet, touch the earth if you can, drink water slowly, put your hand on your heart and on your belly, just like that. Take a breath, like feel yourself, feel your breathing going through the mouth, through the throat, through your lungs, entering your heart, your belly, and ask yourself, what do I need to feel safe in this life? What I'm holding on to because it feels familiar, even if it's not healthy. Where I'm overloading my nervous system. What would peace look like in my daily routine? What values I am ready to live by now? And then set one grounded intention, not 10, but just one. Something simple like, I choose peace over pressure. I trust my body. I build my life from self-worth. I release scarcity and return to trust. I create stability from within. I no longer confuse chaos with aliveness. This new moon is not asking you to become someone else. It is asking you to come back to yourself. Now we will go through the 12 rising signs, to all of them. You can listen for your sign first, then your sun and moon, if you feel drawn to it. Hello everyone! Before we continue with today's astrology forecast, I want to share something very special with you. Many of you already knew that through Mystic Life Astrology, I offer different type of astrological readings. Here you can see the services and all readings I'm offering, from natal chart analysis, early prediction, relationship astrology, sinus tree, composed charts, rectification, and personal guidance through transits. My work is mainly focused on helping you understand your life path, your timing, your emotional patterns, and the deeper meaning behind what you are currently experiencing. But today, I'm very excited to introduce a new service on my website. It's collaboration with a new astrologer, Ask Ralitsa. Ask Ralitsa is a new Horary astrology service at MysticLifeAstrology.com, created in a collaboration with Ralitsa. She's a wonderful astrologer, a real Horary astrologer who specializes in answering specific questions through traditional Horary astrology. Now, Horary astrology is very different from natal chart reading. With the natal chart, we look at your birth date, birth time, and birthplace. We explore your personality, your life path, your relationship, your career, your timing, and the bigger cycles of your life. So the difference here with Horary astrology, you do not need to send your birth details. No, you don't. You do not need to explain your whole life story. Only thing you need is one clear question. Example of that question could be, will this person contact me? And then you just fill the question, send it, and another question you can ask, is this relationship going anywhere? Should I take this job? Can I trust this situation? What is really happening behind the scene? Will I find my lost item? What is the outcome of this matter? Horary astrology reads the chart for the exact moment the question is received, and the chart becomes a symbolic map of the situation. It can show hidden factors, emotional dynamics, possible obstacles, timing, where the chart allows it, and the likely direction of the matter. This is why Horary astrology is so powerful when you feel stuck, confused, emotionally overwhelmed, or when one question keeps repeating in your mind and you need clarity. Ralitsa brings a very direct, deep, and insightful approach to this work. Her readings are very focused, clear, and designed to help you understand not only what may happen, but also why the situation is unfolding this way. So, if you have one question that is really weighing on your heart or mind, you can now visit my website, MysticLifeAstrology.com, go to Ask Ralitsa page, which can be found here on the header, write your question, choose your reading options, and receive your answer by email or WhatsApp, whatever you prefer. You have option to choose. Where do you want to receive your answer? This service is for real question, real situation, and moment when you need spiritual guidance and spiritual clarity. And of course, my own astrology services are still available on the website as well, including personal natal chart, 1-year prediction, relationship astrology, rectification, and deep predictive astrology work. I'm intuitive astrologer, and I'm blending different aspects of astrology because I've been studying psychological astrology, evolutionary astrology, traditional astrology, horary astrology as well, medical astrology. In depth, I've been studying all kind of astrological perspectives, but then I follow the intuition as well. I will leave the link in the description below. Visit MysticLifeAstrology.com, ask Ralitsa, and ask your question. When you bring your question, you let the current chart to speak and let the stars guide you back into clarity. It's wonderful service. I've been experiencing myself. We had a case, we work with Ralitsa together to find the missing person. Lady gone missing, and guess what? We find it. And Ralitsa was so accurate with her horary reading, so yeah, she's able even to find missing people. So let's go back to the new moon forecast. Aries rising. Aries. This new moon in Taurus is activating your second house of money, self-worth, value, income, possessions, and inner security. For you, this new moon is deeply connected to the question, do I feel safe being myself without constantly proving myself? You may have been carrying a lot of pressure recently. Pressure to perform, pressure to be strong, pressure to keep going, pressure to handle everything alone. But this new moon is asking you to slow down and look at the cost of always pushing. Because Aries energy is powerful, you have fire, you have courage, you have instinct. But sometimes when you're stressed, you can feel that your worth come from how much you can carry, how fast you can act, and how strong you can appear. This new moon says you do not need to burn yourself out to prove your value. Money and self-worth may be highlighted now. You may rethinking your income, your spendings, your talents, or the way you use your energy. There could be a new opportunity connected to earning, but it may require you to change your relationship with pressure. So ask yourself, where I'm trying to earn love, safety, or approval by overperforming? What would life look like if I did not need to prove myself through pressure? What if rest actually increased my power? Think about that. This is a powerful new moon for resetting your relationship with money and energy. So the message for you, Aries, for this new moon is your worth is not measuring by exhaustion. Okay, Taurus. Taurus rising. You've got the chart here. Taurus new moon is in your first house, Taurus. So this is so personal. This is your rebirth moment. Taurus. Apologize about that. I had someone on the door delivery, so I had to stop and renew. Taurus, this new moon is in your first house, so this is personal. This is your rebirth moment. A new moon in your sign is like personal new year. But this one is especially powerful because it's asking you to become more honest about who you are now. Not who you were, not who other people expect you to be, not the version of yourself that survived the past. Who are you becoming now? The new moon may bring changes in your identity, appearance, confidence, direction, or personal choices. You may feel a strong desire to start again. But so here is the new moon where it's in zero zero Taurus, zero rising degrees of Taurus. It depends what degrees of Taurus you are. You may feel strong desire to start again, but because Taurus can sometimes hold on to what is safe, this new moon may also show you where you're staying stuck. Because changes feel uncomfortable. The shadow here is control. Try to control outcomes. Trying to control outcomes. Trying to predict everything. Trying to keep things the same because uncertainty feels unsafe. But your grow now comes from self-trust. So ask yourself, what would life look if I trust replace control? What life will look like if trust replace control, to trust the process, to trust the things will unfold in natural way. Where I'm holding on to something because it feels familiar, not because it is aligned. What if safety came from trusting myself instead of controlling every outcome? Taurus, you are planting seeds for a new version of yourself. This is not about rushing, it is about choosing. Your main message of this new moon in Taurus is you are allowed to change and still be safe. Now we're moving on to Gemini. Gemini, this is Gemini rising. Gemini, this new moon in Taurus activates your 12th house of rest, healing, emotions, endings, the subconscious mind, dreams, solitude, and spiritual release. So for you, this is not a loud new moon. It is private. But it's subtle to the degree it is deep. You may feel more tired than usual or more sensitive to noise, people, screens, and information, all kind of different information. We live in such a era of information nowadays. And with Uranus now entering your sign, your energy is changing in a big way. Something new is awakening inside you. But before you run forward, this new moon is asking you to rest. To rest and prepare of what's to come. Because changes are on the way. The shadow for you is mental overload. Too many tabs are open. Too many ideas. Too much information. and your mind is absorbing all of that. Too many conversations, too many possible futures, too many options to pick and choose. And the stress response to the anxiety. The stress response can be anxiety, scatter focus, mental exhaustion, brain fog. So this new moon, to preserve yourself, this new moon is asking you, can you slow down to hear your own truth? Because not every thought is guidance. Not every idea needs action. Not every message needs response. So the new moon in Taurus, you have to ask yourself, what would life look like if I slow down enough to hear my own soul? Where I'm consuming so much information that I can no longer feel myself. You have to pause, rest, and connect with your soul and to see and to feel what you really want. What do I need to release before my next chapter begins? This is a powerful time for meditation, sleep, journaling, therapy, spiritual cleansing, and digital detox. So, other message for you, Gemini, could be your next breakthrough will come from silence, not from noise. Okay. Cancer. Cancer rising. New moon in Taurus is activating your 11th house of friendships, community, future dreams, networks, audiences, and long-term hopes. So for you, this moon is asking, who feels safe? Who feels safe to build the future with? You may be looking at your friendships and realizing which connections feel nurturing and which ones drains you. Because your shadow pattern can be absorbing everyone else's emotions. And then your Cancer rising, you care deeply. You feel people. You can feel people in higher level. You want to support them, but sometimes you can confuse love with self-sacrifice. And this new moon is asking you to create emotional safety in your social life. Not every person needs access to your energy, Cancer. Not every problem is yours to carry. Not every group is aligned with your future. There may be also a new dream emerging for you. Maybe new community, a new collaboration, a new vision of future, but it needs to be built from emotional honesty, not people-pleasing situation, not sacrificing yourself for the sake of others. So you have to ask yourself, what would life look like if I stop caring everyone emotionally? Where have I confused love with self-sacrifice? Think about that, Cancer. Have you done that? I'm sure you did. I'm sure that's your main thing. What if receiving support felt just as safe as giving it. You have to allow yourself to receive support of others, not only to be one-sided support situation. So Cancer, this new moon reminds you that you're allowed to be held to. Your main message is the right people will not require you to abandon yourself. Next, Leo. Leo rising. Hello, Leo, how are you? Leo, this new moon in Taurus activates your 10th house of career, visibility, reputation, ambition, success, leadership, and public life. So, this is a big professional reset for you. You may be planting seeds connected to work, business status, direction, or your public image, but emotionally, this new moon asks something deeper. Can you feel worthy even when nobody is clapping? Leo energy is naturally creative, warm, generous, and magnetic, but when stressed, the shadow can become needling recognition to feel safe. You may feel invisible if others do not notice you. You may overgive, overperform, or try to be impressive because part of you wants validation. But this new moon says your worth is not depending on applause. You are enough, Leo. Career changes or new professional opportunities may arise, especially if you are ready to align your work with your real values. But do not build your future on the need to be approved. Build it on self-respect. Ask yourself, what would life look like if my word was depend on being noticed? What I am performing instead of simply being? What if I'm ready enough before I achieve the next thing? So Leo, this new moon can help you become more grounded in your leadership. Your message is do not need to chase recognition when you're already carrying the light. Virgo. Virgo rising. Hello, how are you? Virgo, this new moon in Taurus activates your 9th house of belief system. Higher learning, travel, teaching, publishing, spirituality, faith, and life direction. So, for you, this new moon opens the door to new vision. But before that new vision can grow, you may need to release the belief that everything has to be perfect before you move forward. Similar like Leo's. Virgo energy is intelligent, practical, and deeply helpful, but the shadow is overanalyzing. Try to fix everything, trying to prepare for everything possible outcome. Trying to make things perfect so you can feel safe. Your feeling of safe comes from perfection. And the stress response can be chaotic tension, self-criticism, and nervous system exhaustion. This new moon is asking you to trust life more. You may be thinking about study, travel, teaching, and spiritual path, or a bigger plan for your future. But you do not need to know every step. Ask yourself, what would life look like if things did not need to be perfect for me to feel safe? Where I am exhausting myself by trying to control every outcome? What if peace matters more than perfection? Virgo, this is a beautiful new moon for changing your philosophy of life, if you wish. Less control, more trust, less fear, more faith. So the main message of Taurus New Moon for you, Virgo, is you do not need perfect plan to take the next honest step. Next. Libra rising. Hello, how are you? Libra, this new moon in Taurus activates your 8th house of intimacy, shared money, debts, taxes, emotional bond, trust, vulnerability, and transformation. So, this is a deep new moon for you, Libra. It may bring up themes around emotional safety in close relationship. Who do you trust? Where do you feel exposed? Where are you merging too much with another person's needs, fears, or finances? The shadow pattern of Libra can be people pleasing and avoiding conflicts to keep the peace. But in the 8th house, this can become emotionally expensive. Because if you say yes when your nervous system says no, resentment builds. If you avoid the truth to keep harmony, intimacy becomes confusing. This new moon asks you to stop abandoning yourself in the name of peace. There may also be a new beginnings connected to shared finances, therapy, healing, emotional intimacy, or releasing an old attachments. So Libras, you've got to ask yourself, what would life look like if I stop abandoning myself to keep the peace? Where am I saying yes when my body is saying no? What if honesty created deeper harmony than pretending? Libra, this is powerful time for emotional honesty. Taurus, new moon. Not harness, but honesty. Your message is real peace begins when you stop betraying yourself. Okay, thank you so much, Libra. Scorpio. Hello, Scorpio. How are you, Scorpio rising? This new moon in Taurus activates your 7th house of relationship, marriage, partnership, clients, contracts, and one-to-one connections. How wonderful is that? So this new moon is directly opposing your sign. And that means relationships are the mirror. You may see very clearly what you need from others, what your fears in a relationship, and what kind of connection actually feels safe. The shadow pattern of Scorpio is emotional guarding, expecting betrayal, testing people, holding back, trying to stay in control so you do not get hurt. And the stress response can become intensely obsessive, district, and emotional survival mode. But this new moon asks what your vulnerability would be safe. Not with everyone, but with the right people. This could bring a new chapter in love, business, partnership, clients, client work, or important conversations. A relationship may shift, a new agreement may begin, or you may finally see the truth about connection. Something you haven't noticed before, haven't seen the truth before. So The new moon in Taurus ask you a question. What would life look like if vulnerability feels safe? Where am I protecting myself so heavy that love cannot enter? What if trust become stronger than control? Scorpio, this new moon is not asking you to open your heart to everyone. No. It is asking you to know the difference between protecting and isolation. Your message is you do not need to control love to be safe in love. You have to let the love unfold. Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising. How are you? This new moon in Taurus activates your sixth house of work, health, daily routines, habits, service, pets, and nervous system balance. So it's time to balance this nervous system. This new moon is very, very practical for you. It's not about a huge, dramatic life change. It is about your daily life, your body, your schedule, your habits, your work rhythms, your stress levels. And the shadow pattern of Sagittarius can be escaping this discomfort through distractions, always chasing the next thing, always needing a movement, always looking for freedom somewhere else. But this new moon is asking, can you find freedom through stability? Can you create a routine that supports nervous system instead of trapping you? There may be a new beginning in your work, health practice, daily rituals, or lifestyle. But the key is consistency, not perfection, consistency. Ask yourself, Sagittarius, what would life look like if I stopped running from stillness? Where am I using movement or distraction to avoid feeling? What if freedom came from emotional safety within myself? Sagittarius, your body may be asking for a slower rhythm. Listen to it. Listen what your body is saying. Your message is your freedom grows when your daily life supports your peace. Capricorn. Capricorn rising. This new moon in Taurus activates your fifth house of joy, creativity, romance, children, pleasure, confidence, and self-expression. This is actually a beautiful new moon for you, Capricorn, but it may also challenge one of your deepest patterns. Believing your value comes from productivity. Capricorn energy is strong, responsible, ambitious, and capable. But sometimes you can carry so much pressure that joy starts to feel unproductive. Rest feel like guilt. Play feel like a waste of time. Love feels like something you must earn. This new moon is saying you're allowed to enjoy your life. Not after everything is finished, but now. You don't have to get everything done to be able to rest and to enjoy yourself. There may be a new beginning in creativity, romance, fertility, children's hobbies, content creation, or something that brings your heart back to life. But the deepest healing is allowing yourself to receive pleasure without needing to justify it. You're worthy of experiencing pleasure. Ask yourself, what would life look like if my worth existed beyond what I produce? Where I am carrying pressure that was never mine to hold. What if softness was also strength? Capricorn, this new moon wants to bring back to the heart. Your message is joy is not a distraction from your purpose, it is part of it. Capricorn, I'm one of you, by the way. Aquarius rising. This new moon in Taurus activates your fourth house of home, family roots, emotional foundation, private life, and inner safety. So, this new moon goes deep. It asks, do I feel safe inside myself? Do I feel safe at home? Do I feel emotionally rooted? With Pluto now retrograde in your sign, you are already going through a deep transformation of identity and power. But this new moon brings your attention to foundation underneath everything. Your home, your family patterns, your emotional body, your past. You need to rest and belonging. The shadow pattern of Aquarius can be intellectualizing emotions, thinking through feelings instead of feeling the feelings, saying in the mind because the body feels too vulnerable. But this new moon says, come home to your body, come home to your heart. You do not have to lose your independence in order to feel connected. Ask yourself, what would life look like if feeling deeply was safe? Allow yourself to feel those emotions. Where am I analyzing emotions instead of experiencing them? What if connection did not require losing my freedom? What if powerful time for home changes? This is a powerful time for home changes, family healing, moving, redecorating, ancestral work, or simply creating more peace in your private life. Your message is your future needs a softer foundation. Pisces rising. This new moon in Taurus activates your third house of the mind, communication, learning, writing, siblings, neighbors, local environment, and daily thoughts. So, for you, this new moon is about mental safety. What are you telling yourself every day? What kind of information are you consuming? What conversations are shaping your nerve system? Think about that, Pisces. Pisces energy is sensitive, intuitive, compassionate, and spiritually open. Pisces is always receptive to the spiritual source. But the shadow can be escapism, blurred boundaries, emotional overwhelm, and absorbing too much. And in the third house, this can show up as confusion, mental fatigue, avoidance, or difficulty saying clearly what you need. This new moon asks you to simplify your mind, simplify your words, simplify your environment. You may begin a new writing project, course, conversation, idea, or local connection. But the deeper work is learning to stay present instead of escaping when reality feels emotionally uncomfortable. So ask yourself, what would life look like if I trust myself? And I trust myself enough to stay present. How wonderful is that? Where I'm escaping because reality feels emotionally unsafe. What if boundaries carried more love, not less? There's nothing wrong having boundaries. Doesn't mean you don't love the person you need boundaries with. Pisces, your intuition is strong now, but your intuition becomes clearer when your nervous system is calm. Your message is peace begins with the thoughts you allow to live inside you. So beautiful souls, this new moon in Taurus is not asking you to force a new life overnight, of course. It is asking you to plant the seed. Plant the seed, a seed of safety, the seed of trust, the seed of peace, seed of self-worth, the seed of stability. And maybe the bigger question of this whole new moon would sound like, what would my life look like if I stopped living from fear and started building from inner safety? Because the world may continue to change, systems may continue to shift, technology may move faster, and so what? Trust may come out, truth may come out, people may feel overwhelmed, so what? But you have a choice. You can react from fear, or you can respond from your center, from your core. Oops. Okay, you have to stop now. Hi, Okamy. Okamy came to say hi. Okay, the new moon reminding us our body is secret. Your body is secret. Your peace is powerful. Your values matter. Your nervous system matters. Your life does not need to be built on pressure. So use this new moon to slow down, to touch the earth, to feel the nature, to take the deep breath, clear the noise, feel all nuances around you, and listen to your body. And plant one simple intention that your future self will thank you for. If this forecast resonates with you, let me know down below in the comments. If you want to tell me something, you can visit my website, MysticLifeAstrology.com. We have contact form if you're interested in some of my readings. Just book yourself in. And also comment your rising sign, because I would love to hear how this Taurus new moon is showing up in your life. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And remember, you're not here just to survive the change. You're here to become more grounded, more awake, and more fully yourself through these changes. All the best. See you in the next video.